The ancient Miss Transmigrates into a CEO's wife. Chapter 4. I don't know what you are thinking, but if you do anything to hurt Zhang again, I won't let you off easy. Xu Shuhei moved closer to Shen Yin, his tone fierce as he issued a warning. This was the closest Shen Yin had ever been to a man, and she couldn't help backing away instinctively. The man's face was right in front of her. To be honest, the man's face was quite good looking, sharp, angular features and nice skin, except for some dark eye circles. You have dark circles under your eyes. Shen Yin blurted out what she was thinking. Xu Shuhei was momentarily at a loss for words because of the dark circles comment. His expression turned serious again as he emphasized, "Remember what I said." Shen Yin suddenly thought of going back to the Dasheng dynasty. At worst she could just run away from the marriage, at worst she could hide away in the countryside with her grandfather and uncle's family. Thinking of her uncle and grandfather, Shen Yin became even more determined to go back. After Shen Yin got home and out of the car, she headed straight for her room and turned on the tap in the bathroom, filling the white bathtub with water. Shen Yin lifted one foot and stepped into the tub, causing some water to splash over the sides. She leaned back according to the mental image that had flashed through her mind when she first arrived here. She felt her vision go dark as she slowly lowered her head into the water. Maybe this way she could get back to the Dasheng dynasty. "Madam, sir, madam seems to be awake." When Shen Yin woke up, she could hear Aunt Song calling by the bedside. Shen Yin had had a very long dream. In the dream, she saw that after she fell into the water, the people she had arranged to rescue her did not come. She was already dead in the Dasheng dynasty. She also heard a voice saying, "Since you have come here, settle in. The skills you learned in the Dasheng dynasty will be amplified in this time." Aunt Song, how long was I asleep? "Madam, you fainted while bathing yesterday. I happened to come to your room to tidy up the laundry and saw you. The doctor said it was because of your irregular diet and lack of sleep, your health couldn't take it." Aunt Song explained. Aunt Song, from today onwards, strictly monitor the madam's diet and schedule. "Yes, sir." After saying this, Xu Shuhei left for work. Lying in bed, Shen Yin thought back to those words. "Since you have come here, settle in. Does it mean I should live properly in this time?" "Aunt Song, what time is it now?" "Time." Aunt Song repeated the question back. Shen Yin suddenly realized that unlike the Dasheng dynasty, she would need to pay attention when speaking here. "Madam, it's 7 o'clock in the morning now. Do you still feel uncomfortable anywhere?" "No more." "Then madam, call me if you need anything. Zhang should be awake now. I made breakfast earlier, the newly hired cook hasn't arrived yet." Aunt Song made to leave. Shen Yin nodded. How to lie from now on was entirely up to her. Firstly, she was already married here, though the marriage did not seem ideal. Secondly, no matter where, she would need money. She didn't recognize the money in this time period. She knew there was money in the phone, but didn't know how to use it. Thirdly, although she had no relationship with Zhang, she was undeniably his mother in this body. If Xu Shuhei did not divorce her, she would have to continue living here. If he did divorce her, where would she go? Shen Yin's original home. Shen Yin stopped her train of thought. The most important thing now was for her to understand this time period and learn to use many things. To avoid arousing suspicion, she had to be cautious. She had no one trustworthy around her, so she would need to find ways to learn, watch TV, read books. "Madam, time for breakfast." This time Aunt Song came in holding Zhang. Zhang's little eyes blinked curiously at Shen Yin, full of curiosity. "Zhang, that's your mommy. Mommy is sick." Aunt Song held one of Zhang's little hands and pointed at Shen Yin. Although her face was very pale, Shen Yin still managed a smile. This time, Zhang did not cry. Wrapped in a coat, Shen Yin followed behind Aunt Song and Zhang downstairs. Breakfast was simple, milk, bread, eggs. "Madam, the new auntie I hired hasn't arrived yet." Shen Yin looked at the food on the table, not used to eating this kind of stuff. Under Aunt Song's expectant gaze, Shen Yin ate nevertheless. After the meal, Shen Yin continued watching TV in the living room. Come lunchtime, the cook still had not arrived. "Hello sir, the auntie you hired to cook yesterday has something come up and can't make it." Aunt Song called Xu Shuhei. "Contact Wang driver to come pick you up and eat out." Xu Shuhei replied. Shu Shuhei was very busy and rarely came home for lunch. He couldn't rush back now either, so this was the only solution he could think of. Aunt Song, the cook didn't come. Shen Yin asked, turning her head from the sofa. Aunt Song stammered a reply that she hadn't come. Shen Yin thought for a moment, then told Aunt Song, from now on, don't hire a cook anymore, I'll do it. Aunt Song was somewhat surprised. But madam, the sir probably won't agree. I'll explain it to him tonight. First teach me how to use the appliances in the kitchen. Hearing Shen Yin say this, Aunt Song was momentarily flustered. Madam, why don't we still hire one? Cooking is very tiring. No need. Shen Yin got up and walked into the kitchen. After watching so much TV, she mostly knew what the stuff in the kitchen was. Aunt Song, demonstrate the on and off for the stove. Aunt Song did as told. Shen Yin was clever to begin with. After watching once, she mostly understood. Madam, Sir said Wang driver is waiting outside to take us out to eat. Aunt Song said gingerly by Shen Yin's side. It was the same private kitchen as yesterday, only Shu Shuhei was now Aunt Song. Seeing this place, Zhang Zheng became happy again. You just know this place has yummy food, huh? Shen Yin stroked the soft, fair skin of Zhang Zheng in Aunt Song's arms. She was reluctant to remove her hand from the baby's face. Over the past few days, Zhang Zheng could see that Shen Yin no longer meant him harm, and was no longer afraid of her. His big eyes were full of curiosity. Zhang Zheng, this is mommy. Answer mommy, you want to eat yummy food right? Aunt Song patiently said. Shen Yin found it incredible, she wasn't even married in the Dasheng dynasty, yet in this time she already had a child, despite not having gone through labor or having any emotional attachment. It was an indisputable fact that this body was his mother. Shu Shuhei had already called to notify Chen Siming. A server from the private kitchen walked over upon seeing them at the door. Madam, please come in. Shen Yin's impression was that the food at this restaurant was average, a bit tastier than Aunt Li's cooking. After eating a little without feeling hungry anymore, Shen Yin stopped eating. Most of the time she watched Aunt Song feeding Zhang Zheng. The little one was adorable, eating seriously and intently. The more Shen Yin looked, the more she liked him. She just couldn't understand why he was so afraid of her at first. Shen Yin's mind kept analyzing, combining what Ji Qingyan had said. The previous Shen Yin disliked men, yet had a child with a man. So the previous Shen Yin must have disliked Zhang Zheng. The more she thought about it, the more she felt it was so. Shen Yin felt a little heartache for Zhang Zheng upon seeing him eat happily. She was somewhat gratified watching him. Aunt Song had already noticed Shen Yin was very different from before. Madam, you didn't eat much, have some more. Aunt Song, I'm full. Madam, don't take this the wrong way, but I still have to say it. I've worked for Sir for several years too. Sir is really a great person. It'd be good to just live well together. Think positively. Otherwise you'll just torment each other, not to mention Zhang Zheng is still so young. You see how poorly you treated Zhang Zheng before, yet Sir didn't divorce you. Frankly speaking, there are swarms of women outside who want to marry Sir. Aunt Song finally uttered what she had been holding in for a long time. Shen Yin looked up at Aunt Song. Aunt Song continued, Madam, I know maids like me shouldn't say such things, but as someone older with experience, I still want to say it. People should think positively. Otherwise life will be too tiring. Living well is the most important thing. And look how cute and obedient this child is, how blissful. Shen Yin didn't expect Aunt Song to say so much to her. Other than the doctor, this was the first time someone had spoken to her at such length, and with kind intentions at that. Shen Yin took it to heart. Aunt Song, I understand. I was foolish and mentally unstable before, couldn't think positively. But now I've come to my senses and will live well. Shen Yin had arrived here now, not knowing anyone. With no money and unfamiliar with the rules of this world, if she wanted to survive, she could only continue with her original identity as Shen Yin. Thank you, Shen Yin said gratefully, and Aunt Song instantly felt a sense of achievement. That's better. Hug, Zhang Zheng called out in his soft, tender voice, sounding as if he was about to cry. Madam, you didn't bring Zhang Zheng with you before, you can try doing so from now on. He's very well behaved and you can ask me about anything you don't understand. Take a guess what Zhang Zheng wants to do now. He probably feels uncomfortable and needs his diaper changed, explained Aunt Song. After finishing their meal, Aunt Song notified the driver to head to the nearby supermarket to buy some ingredients to bring home. "Madam, if this doesn't work out, we should hire someone to cook for us." Aunt Song still had some doubts about Shen Yin's culinary skills. "Aunt Song, I can't trust other people's cooking." Hearing Shen Yin say so, Aunt Song decided not to mention it any further. There were all sorts of goods available at the supermarket, and Shen Yin followed behind Aunt Song while Zhang Zhang was in the arms of Aunt Song. He exchanged looks with Shen Yin again. Shen Yin smiled and clapped her hands at Zhang Zhang. Aunt Song understood what she meant. "Come, Zhang Zhang, let mummy hold you." The little bundle of joy in her arms was soft and fragrant. Shen Yin suddenly felt how magical it was that this child was hers. "Aunt Song, you go ahead and choose the freshest ingredients." Shen Yin had lost interest in grocery shopping, incredibly satisfied just holding Zhang Zhang in her arms. Suddenly, a woman in her 40s walked over, seemingly about to speak to her.